Hi, my name is Artis Osborne, and I'm here with my online partner, Carolyn Winter, to discuss resonance repatterning. Some of you may know a little bit about resonance repatterning. Others may be unfamiliar with this term, resonance repatterning. So I thought it would be good just to talk briefly with you about it so you have a better understanding of what it is we have to offer you. When you resonate with something, you're drawn to it. You're attracted to it. So if you're someone who loves mystery and you hear there's a mystery writer in town giving a talk, you're going to resonate with that possibility and probably show up and listen to that person's presentation. So what you resonate with consciously, you're already doing. But what about the things you resonate with on an unconscious or subconscious level? Messages you learned in your earlier childhood where you were told to do this or not do this, think this or don't think this. Well, those messages or those beliefs that were passed on to you by your family, your teachers, your community that you grew up in, all those messages are still alive and well and living in your energy field. Not only are they living there, but they are determining how you are, how you feel, what you'll be, what you believe, what you think is possible, what you don't think is possible. All of those actions are really driven by you, much of it unconsciously. We call that the energy field or the field of possibilities that we all live in. If you want something, if you have a goal and you focus on it, if your energy is aligned with that, both your conscious and your unconscious energy, you will get there. You will manifest it. And you'll probably look at it and say, wow, that was pretty easy to get there. And that ease is how it feels when my internal energy is aligned with my intentions. Other times you'll set a goal for yourself. We're coming into summertime, and a very popular goal is I want to look good in my bathing suit. So the goal of a slim, strong body is something many people go for. So you set that goal maybe in wintertime and you say, okay, my goal is by summertime I'm going to fit into that bathing suit and feel good about my body. And as you go through spring, you realize that that goal is more and more out of reach. Your intention is clear. You really want that, but you're not getting there. Well, the answer to the why is probably in your unconscious energy field, that your energy is not in alignment with that. So why would it not support you? Why would you, meaning the greater you, why would you not support that goal? Well, think about those childhood experiences. So if you grew up in a family where most of the members of your family carried extra weight, and that was how everybody's body looked, well, you would align with that as being your normal, okay, your acceptable. So when you then try to go outside of that and create a different kind of body, unconsciously the message might be, gee, if I do that, maybe I won't belong to my family unit anymore. Maybe they won't love me. Maybe they won't accept me. So there's an unconscious pull against that goal. So in the language we use in resonance repatterning, you're either resonating with something, meaning you're drawn to it and you manifest it, or you're not. And when you do not resonate with the things you want, something within your energy field has to change or shift so you can be aligned with your intentions. And it's the same with something you don't want. So many people get in what we would call dead-end jobs. They take a job for the paycheck, but it isn't really what they want. They might dream of other things. But they're drawn to stay in that job because they want the safety and security of that income. Even though it doesn't light them up or make them feel good about themselves, they'll stay there. Well, that's a resonance with something that would be perceived as negative or non-coherent, and you go there because it's familiar, because it's expected, etc. So what we do in resonance repatterning is we identify what we want, and then we identify the obstacles in the way of that. So oftentimes people say they want money. They want to make a lot of money. They want to win the lottery. And if you sat down with a person and said, okay, if you win the lottery, how are you going to feel? They might say free. It would allow me to feel free to win the lottery. So what they're really saying, if you go under the words, is their need is to be free. And winning the lottery is just the method they feel will get them there. So if you can satisfy your need for freedom in other ways, then you won't be yearning and buying that weekly lottery ticket, which really is kind of throwing your money in an endless hole, because you'll get your need for freedom met in a more coherent way. So in resonance repatterning, we have a lot of possibilities that we can tap into that really help us understand our resonance better. And that's one of the questions clients will ask me when I meet them for the first time. They'll say, how do I know what I resonate with? And I'll say, well, tell me about your life. Because what you're living and experiencing is what you resonate with, for the good or the not so good. So in a resonance repatterning session, we use a tool called muscle checking. You may know that as applied kinesiology, which is a very highly researched and validated process of checking in with your own energetic self to find out what's going on. And different practitioners interpret that data in their own unique way. So a lot of chiropractors will use muscle checking. They call it testing, muscle testing, by pressing on your arm. They'll say, don't let me press it down, don't let me press it down. And that will help them determine where you need to be adjusted. So they might say, you know, C1, and if the arm stays, that means yes, C1 needs some help. Do I need my thoracic 5? And your arm will go down, and they'll say, oh, okay, your upper back seems to be all right. So that's one way of interpreting. We use muscle checking for 2 different functions in the system called resonance repatterning. One is to determine what will put energy into our system. And for that, we've got this book called Spiral Up. And this is a whole list of what we call tools, or other people refer to as modalities, that literally put a stream of coherent energy into the body so it can change. Yeah, Jenny has her own book right there. So it can change the current status of your energy field, and Carolyn has hers too, so we're all showing our books here. It's a wonderful book because it breaks down choices by categories. So sometimes what you need to do in order to change your resonance and therefore attract something different is to do a particular breath. Other times you might need to move. Another choice would be a sound like humming or toning or singing. Another choice would be to make a contact. So a very easy contact, and if any of you are watching this to do, is to work on your ears. So if you're going to a massage therapist, a good one will spend a little bit of time working on both of your ears, moving them, pulling them a little bit, massaging them, because the ears are full of what we call acupuncture points. And by working on the ears, you're releasing the flow, because that's what acupuncture does. Insert a needle and release the flow of energy in that meridian or that path that's connected to that point. So the way we use this, and our founder of this work, Chloe Wordsworth, was trained in acupuncture, is to do a lot of acupuncture points, but to do them with our hands, or to do them with a sound or an oil, okay? So if you're here with me, just start massaging your ears a little bit. Just pulling on the lobes, moving the ears out from the head, massaging them. You can go from the top to the bottom. Just getting in there. You don't put your fingers inside the ear itself, but just all around it, behind it. And in doing this, you're stimulating the flow of energy in your whole body, and specifically, you're sending this fabulous rush of blood to your brain. So when the blood goes to your brain, it's going to improve the way you think. It's also going to improve what you hear and what you remember. So if you're a teacher watching this, it's be a good thing to teach your students to do so that your words are heard and remembered and understood. Okay? So that's called listening ear massage. And that's one of the exercises in the book. So some very simple things, some more complicated things, but anything in this book is going to put energy into your system. So with our process of muscle checking, which you would learn how to do when you study the course with me online, is to teach you how to use your fingers to determine what you need at that moment in time in terms of energy going into your body. Another way we use it is, this is called the process. And you can see that it is a configuration, and we call this a mandala. So there's different shapes, geometric shapes. And each of those colors represents an option that we can look at in terms of changing our resonance. So sometimes when we come in for a session, we're not present in our body. It's like we're discombobulated. We feel a lack of grounding. If that's the case, then looking at this, I would check, and you would probably need orientation, because to make any kind of change happen in my life, I've got to be here, don't I? I've got to be in the present all together with my energy. So we may need to work on orientation, getting you in your center. Another choice would be to check, is there a problem we need to look at? Yes. So we look at a problem as an opportunity. So we don't dwell on the problem too much. We identify it, get clear about it, identify the feelings that go along with that problem. And then once we have that, we immediately move into, okay, what do you want instead? And how do you want to feel? Okay? And then as you go further into our training, we look at, gee, how's that problem impacting the brain? What part of the brain is being stressed out by this problem? And then we look at you and say, okay, what's your habit around this? Or what's the conflict within you that is contributing to this problem? So we immediately go from, this is a problem, and this is how it feels, to how is it affecting your brain, your body? What is your contribution to it? What is the weakness within you, the habit, the addiction within you that's feeding the problem and creating this internal conflict for you? So we immediately go very, very deep without a lot of conversation. And we use muscle checking to guide that, to know exactly what is needed, because we're not so much interested in the problem. So your problem could be, I'm ill, or I don't have any money, or I'm looking for a relationship and I don't think I'll ever find one, or my golf game is off. It could be anything. And they're all in the same category in the mind of a practitioner of resonance repatterning. It's simply that your frequencies are out of whack. They're out of sync. They're not aligned properly for you to get what you want out of your life. So we immediately go then into, what do you want to create instead, and how do you want to feel? Another check that we could make in terms of the process is, what new possibility do you want for your life? You know, dreamers are often disparaged as having their head in the clouds. But dreamers are the ones that make life happen. Dreamers are the ones that are always creating a new possibility, never happy or settled with what they have. Oh, I want to dream more. And Wayne Dyer talks about this. If you want a successful child, read them a lot of stories. And if you want a brilliant child, read them even more. Okay, so stories and dreaming and imagining is very much a part of resonance repatterning. We call that intention for a new possibility. So coming for a session, you might check for that. That's what our focus would be. Another area to work on in a resonance repatterning session would be, what's under the surface? So we're aware, aren't we, of what's going on in our world consciously, but a repatterning might take us to that unconscious energy. And we might look at your childhood and say, gee, I am muscle checking. Something happened around age 2 with you and your mother. Do you have any idea what that might be? And the person might say, I don't remember being 2. I say, well, just sit with that for a minute. Take a deep breath and kind of let your right imaginative brain give you something, an image, a picture, a word, a phrase. And then suddenly the person will say, I don't know where this comes from, but, and then they'll tell you a story, something they imagined happened around that age. And then from that, we're going to find out, well, what did you decide about yourself? What's that negative belief you created about you? Or you created about life, or about women, or about men? Because the beliefs that we create in childhood have created the reality we're experiencing now in our adult world. And if we don't like what's here, sometimes the answer is to go back and unhook energetically from those old beliefs. And that's what we do in a repatterning. And we have hundreds of them covering every topic you could imagine, from how do you see, what do you hear, what do you believe, to what are your compensations, your way of getting by, what's your relationship with mom, what's your relationship with dad, and it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think it's unlimited how many different repatternings we can do. There's so many to choose from. So whatever one of those sections you check for, we all come to the same place, and that is, what do I need to do now to change this internal energy so that I can begin to create the life that I really want and unhook myself energetically from the things I don't? And that's where we come back to the spiral up tools. You might need a movement or a sound or a breath or some kind of contact or an oil or a color or a memory in your imagination. It goes on and on and on, because at any moment in time, your energy field is different. So what you needed to do yesterday to change your energy might not necessarily work for you today. And that's one of the things that drew me most to this work, is that concept of one size does not fit all. And what you need at any given moment is unique to that moment. So some systems teach you one thing, do this. And we say, we don't know what you're going to do, check it. And here's the list, and keep adding to it. So it's organic, it's flowing, it's open-ended. And it's structured, and it's solid, and it's clear, and it's straightforward. So it's a wonderful combination of that left brain need for structure and organization, and that right brain need for imagination and creativity. Those both are brought together in the resonance repatterning system. And I've been teaching since 1995, so I'm an old-timer in terms of teaching this work. I also have had the privilege of training other teachers to teach this work, and that's been very exciting. And about 3 years ago, I got the idea and called my online partner, Caroline, and said, I think we need to bring this online. I think we need to use the World Wide Web and start connecting with people wherever they are from the comfort of their own home. And I wasn't sure how to do it, but I knew Carolyn would figure it out, because that's her skill and her brilliance. And she came up with VC, which we're using right now, a free connection, secure, that anyone can access. And we created the online training for resonance repatterning. And we have a new series starting up in September of this year, 2015, that will conclude in March of 2016. Anyone that takes the training with us, at the end of the training, you can apply to take another journey towards becoming a certified practitioner, which will tell you that you truly know what you've learned and you can practice it effectively and really support others as well as yourself in transforming your negative resonance and getting your system to be totally aligned with creating some new powerful possibilities for your life. We've loved doing the training, going into 3 years now. It feels like it was yesterday, but we've met some wonderful people from all over the world that have taken this training with us. We send you all the materials that you need. We break it into very manageable chunks. We meet twice a week for 3.5 hours, and it goes by like that. You have assignments to do on your own. We have support groups that Carolyn runs where you check in and you practice and get feedback all along the way so that your confidence just grows and grows throughout the 6 months. You also have a wonderful bonding experience with everybody else because we're all together on the screen at the same time. So if you have a question, it gets answered in real time. If you want to connect with another person on your own, you just VC with each other. I pair you up. I say, okay, I want you to give this person a session and do it on such and such a day around this topic. You do your sessions, you send me your notes so I can make sure you have clarity, then I give you feedback. So all along the way, you're getting the support you need to be incredibly comfortable and confident in doing this work and going on to be a practitioner if that's your choice. Some people just take it for themselves, and that's a perfectly wonderful reason to learn resonance repatterning. And what you do for you helps your partner, your husband, your wife, your children, your friends, your family, your neighbors. Because when you drop a stone in a puddle of water, it ripples and it ripples and it ripples. That's us. We're all that pool of water. We are one energy, infinitely connected. And when you make a change, it benefits me. When I make a change, it benefits you. So the ripples are endless. And that's that 100th monkey that everybody talks about. How do we make change in the world? Well, that's how we do it. We support each other in identifying and transforming our resonance so that we begin attracting a quality life and we let go of any negative or limiting beliefs that can be restrictive and harmful to us. And as we expand, the universe expands. So that's resonance repatterning in a nutshell. Any questions I could take at this time, I'd be happy to answer. Okay, yeah, excellent question. So Carolyn asked me for people that would be interested in studying the class with us online that were not able to be here today. The classes are sequential, and there are 5 sections basically. And what we do is we take you through beginning to end. So you can't do part 2 if you haven't done part 1. Okay, so it is sequential. We look at it as one course divided into these 5 sections. So the first section is the equivalent of what we would call a 3-day training. And for us, a day is a week. So in 1 week, you get the equivalent of 1 day. So that's how we break it out. The middle sections 2, 3, and 4 are the equivalent of 2 days of classes. So that would be over a 2-week time frame. And then the last one is again the equivalent of a 3-day class, and that would be broken down over the 3-week. We do have breaks. So think about a university course that you take. You go in for a semester, and then you've got a break at Christmas or a break in the spring. We have breaks along the way. So it's not a non-stop commitment to learning. It's a nonstop commitment to supporting your learning on behalf of Carolyn and myself. But your class time, you do have breaks in between. And those are necessary for you to be able to absorb and integrate. Because you want to really know that I understand this book and what I learned from this book before I go to my next book. Because without that kind of integrating and breaking, we want to think that we grow like this. But in reality, we make a little bump. We need to integrate that growth before we go to the next bump and integrate that. So growth is more like steps than a straight line up. I'd love it if it were that straight line up, by the way, but that's not very realistic. Okay, so we go in steps. So that is how we do the training and break it into what I think are much more manageable chunks of information. in those 3.5 hour patches of learning. Yes. So good question, Carolyn just asked. When you do these trainings, and it's the 5 parts that we talked about that finish up in March, how soon could you actually begin practicing what you're learning on other people? And my answer is from day one. From day one, you can start sharing and practicing. And all I ask is that you let people know the level of your training. I'm doing this in 5 segments, and I'm just starting segment 1, but I'm so excited. Can I try to practice this on you? Because it's a benign system, and you really will do no harm. Practicing breathing patterns and movements and sounds and contacts with your family and your friends so that they begin to experience it as well. And then as you learn more, you share more and you take them deeper and deeper into what you're knowing. So feel free to practice from the very beginning what you're learning. So Jenny, you've got your Spiral Up book. Use it with your family. Have a family practice time where you go through and just pick out different Spiral Up exercises and read the description of how to do it. And you can, just practice right away. Just, the family that breathes together stays together. The family that moves together moves together. And just make it a family dynamic. Teach your children to pull their fingers before they go to sleep at night. Just pull on their fingers, and that's going to release all the stuck energy in their whole body from the day before they go to sleep. Something as simple as that. Or if a child is feeling nervous, say, okay, I want you to hum with me. And you sit up straight with your back straight and your chin in and say, let's hum together. And you hum. And in the humming, all the worry and the anxiety just fades away, and the brain just gets flooded with this vibration coming up the spine from here. And when the brain's happy, you're happy. Yeah. So Carolyn is saying when she was learning it, it just amazed her along the way that she'd practice things on other people, and they'd say, that's amazing. How did you know that? How did you know that? Well, the simple answer is I don't. I don't know it. Your system knows what you need, always, because your system wants you to be in perfect balance and will support that always. So when you ask your system what you need and you know how to muscle check, it's going to tell you. And with permission, if you're helping a friend or a family member and you say, do you give me permission to check what you need? And they'll say yes. So it's their energy field, but it's talking through your fingers. And you now know how to interpret that language. It's like learning a new language, okay? And then when they do that, they say, oh, wow, I feel so much better. How did you know? And you can say, I didn't, but you did. You did. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up now and maybe do a little bit of a repatterning on this recording, just so you get a taste of it. Okay, 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 excellent, excellent. Okay, so Carolyn's suggesting we do a short little repatterning, that anyone listening, it'd be generic enough that you could watch it and get a little boost yourself just by viewing it. Because there is no such thing as time, we just make up time because it's convenient. We change it when you change the clocks. We change time, we make up time. So the past, present, and future, in my opinion, are all happening right now. So it really doesn't matter what time you listen to this, you're still going to get the benefits of it. So what I'm going to do is just check from this book. This is Primary Patterns. This is one of the beginning books. and just see if there's a little something we might do as a group. And I'm checking we can take a look at our beliefs. So we've talked briefly about that already, that what we believe is real, and often that comes from childhood, what we believe is real in our reality. Okay, we experience it as real. So let's pick a problem that's pretty basic, and that would be, and Carolyn, I'm just going to type into your chat box just for the benefit of having the notes in front of me. Let's say the belief is, I always get tired mid-afternoon. Being a teacher, that's a real challenging time. Being in the business world, I see a lot of people just kind of lose energy around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when they need the coffee or the cola or the chocolate or something caffeinated to give them a boost. So I'm just going to represent just the group in general here. I always get tired mid-afternoon. And when I check, we are on. That means yes, I agree with that statement. My energy matches that statement. That's what that means. So what would I like instead of that? Let's say I have consistent energy for all I want to do. Because we don't want this, right? These massive ups and massive lows. We want this nice flow of consistent energy for all I want to do. And when I check the group for that energy, we don't seem to hold that one. We are off for that. So I'm going to see if there's a non-coherent belief that we all have in common that would be sitting underneath this issue. Okay? So I have a list of 51. So I'm just going to check for a number. We need between 1 and 10. No. We need between 11 and 20. We do. It's between 11 and 15. It is. It's number 11. It's number 12. It's number 13. And the belief is, I don't belong. That's the belief. I don't belong. So checking the group, I don't belong, and we seem to match that energy. So think about when you get tired, and think about that statement, I don't belong. So maybe something at that time is triggering that old belief that I don't fit in here, you know, I can't be a contributor here. Because when we're contributing and fitting in, we feel a sense of energy. And when we're not, we lose energy. So that's what our collective system is saying. And now I'm going to find what we call the coherent belief to balance that energy out. And there's 51 of those. So we need numbers 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. That's the section. It's 30 to 35, 36, 37, 38. All right, and that belief is, I have a positive belief about myself and others. Okay, so when I check that, I have a positive belief about myself and others. We don't match that energy. So that's a little mini session for the group. Now we can either just be okay with what came up, or we can change it. And I'd rather change it so we can now resonate with having that consistent energy and let go of I'm always too tired, let go of I don't belong, and line ourselves up with that positive belief about myself and others, and I've got good energy. So when we want to make a change, we always need a tool. So we need something from A, something from B, something from C. C is color. So under color, we need 1 through 5. We need 6 through 10. We need 6. We need 7. We need 8. We need to do a fun one called circling in 3 dimensions. So what I'm going to show you, I'd appreciate if you just do it on your own as well. You're going to put your thumb out in front of you. Doesn't matter which hand, and when one hand gets tired, you can switch it. Now imagine you have an oval and you're circling around that oval. Doesn't matter what direction, because you're going to do both. While you're circling, your eyes are going to follow your thumb. And what you want is to have it fairly equal on both sides. And make sure you're breathing. Reverse your direction, looking at your thumb and breathing. When we focus on something, we oftentimes forget to breathe. Good. Now, same thumb, I want you to circle it all the way out and come all the way in. Circle out and in. Again, your eyes are following your thumb. You're breathing. And I'll give you a tip. Put the tip of your tongue anywhere you like on the roof of your mouth. Some of you may notice that it's already there. The roof of your mouth is the floor of your brain. Reverse your direction. So when we put our tongue on the roof of our mouth, we are supporting our brain in being integrated. Good. Now the final one is to circle. Again, doesn't matter what direction. Circle around, trying to be even on both sides. Tip of the tongue on the roof of your mouth, breathing slowly and deeply. Now reverse the direction again, eyes following your thumb. Good, and relax your arm down. So what did we just do? We moved our eyes. And we moved our eyes in 3 different dimensions. And by moving our eyes, we release the tension that the eyes are holding. And if you do a lot of computer work, a lot of reading, your eyes are holding a great deal of tension. So it's really good to give your eyes the same kind of an aerobic exercise that you would give the rest of your body. And that circling that you just did is a wonderful aerobic exercise for the eyes. So why focus on the eyes? Well, all the tension that would result in getting tired in the afternoon starts here. It starts in the eyes, and then it radiates to the rest of the body. So when we release the tension here, we release the tension everywhere. Okay? And once that's gone, suddenly we have energy. So that's what our collective system wanted to do in order to change our resonance so that we would have what we want. So the final piece is just to confirm that we're in good shape here. I always get tired mid-afternoon, no longer matching the energy of that. I have consistent energy for all I want to do, checking the group's energy here. We are aligned with that. I don't belong. We're no longer matching the energy of that old childhood belief. And I have a positive belief about myself and others, and we are matching that. So that's a quick little repatterning. Usually they take about an hour, hour and a quarter. That one took, what, 10 minutes? But it gives you a taste of what you can do. So I hope you found this helpful, and feel free to come to ozartist.com at any time and go around the website, listen to different videos on different topics, read about the online series, see if you're drawn to do the training. I have to tell you, it's not for everybody. I've learned that over the years. But if you are the kind of person who is committed to being the best version of you possible, if you're the kind of person willing to invest time and energy in your own growth and transformation, you will never find anything more comprehensive that will take you deeper and deeper and deeper into your own self than resonance repatterning. I look forward to being with you in September. We have a small classroom, only 8 seats are available, and right now 4 of those are taken. So if you're drawn and you think this is for you, jump now. We have a special going through the end of June. Take advantage of that, save a little cash, and join us in September. This will change your life. Thank you.